The crimson sand of the Korvaxian fighting pits had been painted with the blood of 1,000 warriors from across the galaxy. Above the arena, holographic displays flickered with betting odds, while spectators from dozens of species roared their approval. But today an unusual silence had fallen over the crowd. Zarketh the Render stood in the center of the pit, his obsidian carapace gleaming under the harsh arena lights. 8 feet of pure killing machine, the Korvaxian had evolved on a death world where only the strongest survived. His razor-sharp claws could slice through titanium, his acidic saliva could melt bone, and his exoskeleton could deflect plasma bolts. For 3 standard years he had remained undefeated. The arena announcer's voice boomed across the stadium in the universal trade language. Citizens of the Galactic Federation, today we witness something unprecedented. The challenger has requested to enter the pit. Unarmed. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Even the hardened gamblers fell silent. The massive gates on the opposite end of the arena began to grind open, releasing a cloud of smoke and steam. From within the shadows stepped a figure that made the crowd lean forward in their seats, not because of its imposing presence, but because of its complete ordinariness. The human appeared small compared to Zarketh, standing barely 6 feet tall. No carapace, no natural weapons, no visible augmentations, just pale skin, brown hair, and what looked suspiciously like a slight smile playing at the corners of his mouth. He wore simple gray combat fatigues and walked with an easy, relaxed gait that suggested either supreme confidence or complete insanity. "Ladies, gentlemen, and others," the announcer continued, "I present Marcus Chen of Earth, the first human to enter the sacred arena of Korvax Prime." Zarketh's mandibles clicked in what passed for Korvaxian laughter. In his native tongue, he chittered. The soft skins have finally lost what little sense they possessed. Marcus stopped about 20 feet from the apex predator and raised his hand in greeting. "Hey there, big guy. Nice carapace, very intimidating." The crowd translator system struggled with the human's casual tone, causing confused murmurs throughout the stadium. Zarketh's compound eyes focused on the strange creature before him. Something about the human's demeanor unsettled him, though he couldn't identify what. "You come here to die, soft skin?" Zarketh growled, extending his claws to their full length. "Actually, I came here to make a point," Marcus replied, beginning to walk in a slow circle around the Korvaxian. "See, everyone keeps talking about how humans are weak, fragile, easy prey, and you know what? They're absolutely right." Zarketh tracked the human's movement, unsure whether to be offended or amused by this apparent death wish. "We don't have your claws," Marcus continued conversationally, "or your armor. We can't breathe poison or spit acid. Hell, most of us can't even see in the dark properly." He paused in his circling. "But you know what we do have?" The arena had fallen completely silent now. Even the betting pools had stopped updating. "We have something that evolution gave us instead of all those fancy weapons," Marcus said, tapping his temple. "We have this, and more importantly," he smiled wider, and for the first time, Zarketh felt a chill run through his chitinous frame. "We have stubbornness." Zarketh decided he had heard enough. With a roar that shook the arena walls, he launched himself forward, claws extended, moving faster than most species could even track. Marcus didn't dodge. Instead, he stepped inside the attack, grabbed Zarketh's leading arm, and used the alien's own momentum to redirect him into the arena wall with a thunderous crash. The crowd erupted. Zarketh rolled to his feet, carapace cracked but far from defeated. He charged again, this time with both claws sweeping in a pattern that should have turned any opponent into ribbons. But Marcus wasn't there. The human had dropped low, swept Zarketh's legs, and rolled away before the alien could react. The Korvaxian hit the sand hard, his own weight working against him. "You see," Marcus called out as Zarketh struggled to rise. "Humans figured out something a long time ago. We learned that the biggest, strongest predator isn't always the most dangerous one." Zarketh's eyes blazed with fury. He began to secrete his acidic saliva, preparing to spray it across the arena floor. But as he opened his mandibles, Marcus was already moving. A handful of sand, perfectly thrown, struck Zarketh's mouth and eyes, causing him to gag and stumble. "We learned that intelligence beats strength," Marcus continued, staying mobile, using the arena's features, posts, walls, even the betting booth overhangs to his advantage. That adaptability beats specialization, that sometimes the scariest thing in the room isn't the one with the biggest teeth. Zarketh, half-blinded and increasingly frustrated, made one final desperate lunge. Marcus sidestepped and, in a move that would be replayed across the galaxy for decades to come, grabbed one of the alien's own claws and drove it into a weak point in the carapace he had spotted during their earlier exchanges. Zarketh collapsed, not dead but completely incapacitated, his own weapon turned against him. The arena fell silent for a long moment. Then, slowly, the applause began. First from a few humans in the crowd, then spreading to other species, until the entire stadium was on its feet. Marcus walked over to the fallen Corvaxian and offered him a hand up. "Good fight, friend. Nothing personal." As medical teams rushed onto the field, Marcus looked up at the crowd, his message clear without him having to say another word. Humans might not be the strongest or the fastest or the most naturally armed species in the galaxy, but they were the ones who had just walked into the most dangerous arena in known space, unarmed and unafraid, and walked out victorious. The age of underestimating humanity, it seemed, had just come to an end.